The last thing I wrote on there, can you see it on yours? I don't know why it crapped out. It just suddenly went to a different screen.
I have no.
Yep, you're in there. So then you just write. I don't know what the new link is, but there's a chat going. Maybe it's the internet. No, we have internet. There's the chat. Yeah, it was frozen, and then I wrote on YouTube suddenly stopped. I can't start a new one. New one is up. You can print that up. New one is started. And see, oh, there they're finding us. Okay, so if somebody can put the link in the other one, I don't know what happened. It just suddenly my YouTube says, do you want a trial? I'm like, no, I don't want a trial. But someone will get the link to this one, and then I'll just put a new picture on it and whatever later, but yay! So I'm not sure where it crapped out yet, but anyway, it was 173 grams. Karl failed. So I got 173 grams done. That's not too bad, but I have a lot more to go. So, Karl, do you have any stories this week while we see when people come back? There we go. We got Albert. Albert is like first this time. Charlotta was first last time. Yep, Rhonda's agreeing with me. That was weird. Max is here. Little Bella's here. Ashley's here. Arlene's here. Okay, so they're coming back in. Oh my God, it's like hot. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened. It just froze. Or it just suddenly had like a YouTube window up.
Yeah, we are using internet over the cell phone network, and the cell phone network is kind of dodgy around here.
No, maybe that's what it is. We haven't sent from this house yet. We've sent
No.
from the other house up the hill, but not this one. Let's see if that stays up. I was close at 180. She was guessing how much I had. Oh, Torben's here, by the way, and he just says, why? Max says, maybe the yarn is chenille. I never used chenille Nalbinding at all. Oh, chenille. It can be really, really pretty, but you have to have a really good quality chenille, because if you get the Red Heart stuff, or maybe Lion brand is the same, I think, actually. It's, if you start to pull the yarn, let's see. If you take the chenille yarn and you do this with it, and it starts to come apart, if you keep doing it too much, then you don't want to needle bind with it. It'll just shed. But if it's a really good chenille, then it's in solid. And then you can needle bind with it, no problem. It'll look really, really cool. I crocheted a sweater with it, and I started to knit a blanket. I think it was the Lion brand one, chenille. It was like this chunky, thick chenille anyway, and it just, I made a mistake. I think whatever I was making, I wanted to redo it or something, I don't remember, so I started ripping it up. And then when I went to go use it again, it was just frayed. It didn't actually like being knit and then ripped out again, so. But there's other chenille I did, this on Ravelry though. I made some baby sweaters out of this chenille that's kind of a thinner one, and something Norwegian that's been out of date over 20 years ago anyway, but that one is solid. That one, it didn't come apart at all. So you have to check the quality of the chenille, but if you are, you know, stroke your chenille yarn, if you stroke the yarn and it starts to come apart, it's not good. You got any comments on this?
No, it sounds
I'm just
logical
gonna stroke
to me.
my yarn here. Anyway, if it's a good chenille, it'll work. But chenille's tricky, but it can be really, really pretty if it works out right. What did you do this week, Karl?
No, it's work.
Work. Where did you have people from now? Did you have any new countries this week? I'm gonna needle bind because I have a lot to do.
No, I don't think so. I think yeah, China is new.
China, yeah, we had China today.
Not today, but we had them on Wednesday and Thursday. Different Chinese people, and I think it's the first Chinese people I've seen since 2019.
Huh. You know, I did something stupid. I didn't have enough yarn. When I got to the end of the yarn, I just finished the head off and thought, done. And then I realized it's not big enough, so now I have to unpick my end, and I did a really good end. But I don't know where the end of the yarn is. We had Brazil, lots from Brazil this week.
Yeah, South and Central America has started coming in a big way.
Australia too.
Yeah, it's the other hemisphere thing. For them it's spring, so...
So they come to Norway to freeze.
Yeah.
In their summer. No, they do though. Then England has been here quite a bit, but I thought it wasn't going to be as much this week because apparently last week was their last week of their mid-school something.
But it's not the families with small kids that come. It's the well-established, pretty rich, grown-up couples. That's
like
our
them.
typical. That's our typical customers. And if they are thinking like I usually think, that there is too many tourists if you take your vacation in the middle of the vacation.
Yeah.
And you have a job where you have flexibility to do what you want, then now is the best time to travel, really.
Not COVID friendly, this place, by the way.
Just infect yourself.
I'm just gonna infect myself. But it makes a good splice. I have really good spit. My spit is like glue. Nah, otherwise my mouth would be glue shut. But no, I was gonna say we had, where else did we have? Guatemala, we had France. There was a lot of French people last week too.
Not exactly a lot compared to the week before, but
We have
you
a
see them.
we have a French documentary released now. We weren't doing it. I don't know what the guy's name. Some famous guy or whatever in French TV. Do you remember his name?
No.
No.
I've tried watching this documentary, but I don't speak a single word of French, so I just see pictures of us while somebody is speaking very
Yeah.
enthusiastically in French in the background. So it's, for all I know, it's good. Might be good, might be shit. Don't know.
No, it actually looks amazing. But you know what they're saying is another story. I don't know what they're saying, but
And that's kind of the point.
yeah. But it looks really good. There's some shorts on there. I don't know. I might put one up on the Viking Valley Facebook page, but pretty much only the French are going to understand it. But I was in the shop for most of it. I see you. You're in there with. He was walking in there with what's her name, Martina Vargsdotter on Instagram, and the guy told you and Martina to walk down. I think Louisa was on the other side of you, but it doesn't show up in shot. And Marie comes up. Look at your man.
Yeah.
Your man is running off with other women.
They wanted me to walk. I'm just in the background. And then they thought it was unnatural that I walked by myself. So they sent me first one woman and then another woman. So I immediately went and asked Toril, is it okay if I have a retinue of 2 women every time I do a guided tour? I don't think she can afford that, but...
No, but it would look better for your tours, I guess. You could have booth babes, but they would be like Karl babes. Yeah.
When you're not planning a market, you don't really have that much better to do.
Oh,
So.
there you go. Yeah, no, because I was mostly in the shop, but I did get to come out for one part, and they said, "Do you think you can just like play with some plant or something like that?" And I'm like, "No problem." I have all these tansies that were dried from the past couple of years in the textile house, so I took them all down. And this was the perfect time to take the flower buds off the tansies because you use just that part to color with. You can use the other part, but you'll get a different color. So there we were, and all of a sudden everybody else thought that looked like a good idea, so suddenly we're 6 women standing around a bunch of these tansies ripping off the flowers on them and putting them in one pot, and because I couldn't wear my glasses, I looked pretty pissed off. But I'm only there for like a split second.
When you're just in the background, they don't really care what you do, as long as you are in motion and you do something that is visually interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't think they were French, they were probably Italian or something like that. Made a documentary back in 2011.
Oh yeah, that one.
And
Oh no, that one. I'm thinking something else.
Just to have me move in the background, we are boiling a pot of water, and I'm just standing there with light. Is that what the thing you use to take water out of?
A ladle.
A ladle. I'm standing there with a ladle, with very deep concentration. I take water out of the boiling pot, I look at it, and I put it back in the boiling pot. And then I keep doing that in the background. So what you see is just a bearded man with his head in the fog of the pot. I tried watching an Italian TV series yesterday.
Yeah.
So the quality of Italian anything, I'm not impressed. Do you have any Italians watching so I can insult them directly?
Oh, you insult everybody. We had, was it Belgium? Belgium that did one? Or no, Netherlands. Netherlands did a documentary, and then we got a crap load of Dutch people for the next 2 years, I think.
Yeah, no, but...
Right before the pandemic, I think it was.
The Dutch are not Italian.
No, no, I don't remember the Italian one. The Italians did a movie, I think, this year, but the French documentary looks really cool. So it makes it look so beautiful. Well, it is beautiful here, but they drone footage and everything. And Karl with 2 babes, and I think Roger got 2 babes too. Yeah, alive. That's why Marie was saying, "Look at your man! Look at your man! He's got 2 women. You're going to have to kick their asses." Marie's French. She speaks with swords. But they killed each other also for the entertainment. She and her husband, they settled their marital disputes with weapons. And I think she kicked his butt. I don't know. I didn't get to see that. Did you?
Yeah, but it's the thing that I do is mostly choreographed.
Yeah. Okay, well, I don't know. She always wins, so I thought maybe either Roger's being really nice or... Okay, so this is looking good. I kind of like it. It'll have... Oh, you can't really see it there, but yeah. It'll have a black... or a really dark gray ridge on the bottom. But I have to do it. Okay, I can catch up on chat. How often do you stroke your yarn, Karl? Torben wants to know.
The yarn, I only use yarn that can stand a little bit of stroking.
Go ahead, stroke it. Stroke
it has to be stroked pretty regularly.
Just pet it. Be nice to the yarn. It's woad. You need urine to make this yarn. Mm-hmm. You want to stroke it again?
When you pee on something, you absolutely should stroke it afterwards.
No, I don't think I think they used ammonia. I don't think they used urine with this one, but I've had this forever, so it was about time to finally use it. But when you have like the really good yarn or plant dyed or whatever, something like the blue, which is hard to do, and I get yarn anxiety, and then I don't know what to do with it. But I've been better at using my yarn anxiety. Noro is another one that gives me yarn anxiety, but because it's so pretty and you want the project to be just perfect. But that was the head I showed a couple weeks ago. That turned out really good. Okay, so Karl, you can stroke the yarn. A hat, no idea what the hat could be. This is the end. Oh, I'm going to go a little bit further back. Lovely colors. Oh, I thought I had kind of boring colors on mine. A lot of gray. Let's see. Karl's right, too cold, says Arlene. Torben says back to the alien keys. Charlotte says new house. Or yeah, this is well, we've had this one since May. Yeah, because we were using housing owned by the hotel anyway, but this one became available, and so now since I'm slowly moving here, we are renting one that is not owned by the workplace, so that I can slowly move all my crap here. God, I have a lot of crap. And then I can figure out what to do with my house in Vestby and look for something in the area. But finding a house in this area is not easy. It's pretty hard. In the valley, I don't think you'd find anything that isn't at least 100 years old and need a massive repair. But so all you could do is rip it down and build a new one.
And if I understand Toril correctly, you can't do that.
No.
Because if the house is gone, you can't replace it because UNESCO. But if the house is still there, you can repair it as much as you like.
Oh, okay. Oh, this
so
one
that's
would
why
need...
they're not tearing down the 100-year-old houses.
Because this one would need a lot of repair. This is the reason why we insulated it. Why we did this thing here anyway. You can see the wall. It is just pieces of wood that go this way. And there's like a gap between the windowsill and the wall. So I think it used to have paneling on the front because the kitchen does. And then they took the paneling off, so I think we're missing a layer of wood on the wall. So until then we have quilt upon quilt upon quilt.
But probably much more importantly, we are missing a layer of glass in the windows.
Yeah, the glass is it's just single pane.
Yeah.
But so we have to. That's the next thing is to hang leftover fabric in the window. I have a lot of wool fabric that I just bought recently to make clothes with, and of course I didn't sew them in time. So, but are you feeling warmer? Is the yurt working for you?
But it has actually also been warmer since I was complaining.
Yeah.
When I was complaining, there was frost on the ground. It hasn't been frost on the ground since then.
Oh, and we got the shawls on the wall too. Got this all those shawls my mom made. I made one of them. It's a green one over there, but you can't really see it. That green one there I made. And then more quilts on top of quilts. Probably showing this one. That's a cute one there, though. It's one with the flowers, and each flower loses another petal, and it says, loves me not. And then it finishes off with, loves me.
I've said it before, and I say it again. If Genghis Khan had a brother who was colorblind, homosexual, and American, this is how he would decorate his yacht.
Oh, I have a bag over there. We have to do like a little reveal thing too, and an unwrapping. Oh, anyway, so that's this way, and then let's see if I turn it around this way, you can see the other side. Okay, that went probably fast. Everyone's puking. More over there, and then I had to hang my paintings back on top of the quilts. So there's the paintings I did of my kids eons ago, and more quilts. On top of quilts, on top of quilts. That's Karl's corner, where he plays the computer and drinks iced coffee. So lots of little everything. Okay, I'm gonna catch up on chat, and then I'll have to show you what we got in the envelope. Let's see. But yeah, so it's new to us house, but this thing has got to be over 100 years old. And the bathroom is so tiny. I mean, you have to back in to sit on the toilet. You can't really turn around when you come in. Don't you hit your head on the door every time you go in?
No, I've only done that once.
Then you learn your lesson. Because the door, they must have been shorter when they built this house, because the door is like there.
No, I've seen the guys who, well, they didn't build a house, but I'm assuming they're about the size of their preceding generations, and they are about my size.
Oh, I like
Not Smurfs. It's not a Georg house.
No, Georg's short, the chieftain. He's about the same height as me. I'm 5'6". No idea what that is in centimeters. Anyway.
Tiny.
Rhoda Hagman says, chenille yarn makes worms. I like that, the quote worms. There's Pruda, she's back. Working on a hat and for a colleague on Finish 2+2 and is in fantastic wool and a silk blend. Oh, those are nice. That's what that Noro is. Max says, it's because I'm afraid that it'll shed like an undercoat of a cat or a dog. But stroke the chenille, you'll find out. Anne says, my husband's knitted sweater is done, and I made him a hat, Nalbinding. Oh, nice. So they get a lot of stuff made here. Max said I used acrylic yarn because it's much cheaper and easier to find. Yeah, it is, actually. Some acrylic blends aren't that bad. That green shawl I have over there is actually an acrylic blend, but I love it. It was knit. Black IPA, says Torben. Are you drinking the IPA? How did you like the IPA that I brought you, Torben, the weird stuff? I think you did actually said it tasted like ass. The one that I found at the used by Best Before or whatever store. And they said we got, Robert, and Albert says we could rent out this house. Yeah, we probably could. Then we'd have to have roommates. Are you kidding? By the way, Albert is looking for amber. Do you know anybody who sells amber? Because he's going to make a necklace. I know there's a crap load of it in Poland. But
Yes, it's typically a Baltic Sea type thing. So look
It's just
for
floating there.
Swedish, Finnish, Estonian, Latvian, Lithuanian, Polish people, and I probably have some.
I know Mirek has some. And you can just find it floating in the water in the sea or something. But actually, any of amber you find, you're supposed to send over to the government, I guess, state. Max said I had the chenille yarn that sheds really badly, and it was so fugly that I ranked it and a 0 and an F. I'm pretty sure it was Lion Brand, a thick and chunky chenille that I had, and this has got to be at least 15 years old, or 15 years ago. I started to undo or to rip the knitted blanket apart anyway, and I threw it away. Usually I can't be asked to throw yarn away, but it was just shit when I took it apart. You couldn't use it again, so I just threw it away. It was too bad. It looked like it would be nice anyway. Oh, the Vestby house I can rent out. Yeah, no, the house I have in Vestby will either rent out or sell. Probably rent out right now because I think it's I have to wait. The value goes up every year, so it's probably stupid of me not to. I have something from Nella in Finland. She sent me a birthday present. I thought she tells me she's gonna send me a card. Let her know when it gets here. So I have this card that I thought I was going to get, and it turns out it's a lot more than a card. So first, I have to say, this is the card she made. It's this diamond painting, I think it's called. My kid used to do this. This is so cool. So I thought, my God, it took forever just to make the card. But my favorite part about the card is the writing inside, which you can't see too well, but it says, Happy 50th birthday, Karin. And happy 4700th birthday to Karl. So I like it. No, I thought that was really funny. So made a story in the song. This is where I'm ancient and justified and ancient on the Instagram story. Then there's tea with the Moomy Trolls. This is the Moomin. Cecilia liked it because this one, she had a stuffed animal just like that one, and she calls it Marshmallow because he looks like a big marshmallow. But, oh, there's more of the Moomy Trolls. Moomy! This is the one she said tasted really good. We'll have to try it. Oh, Moomin on skis. And I forget what this one's name is. Who's this? Do you know what her name is?
Little Me in Norwegian.
Little Me in Norwegian?
I don't know what she's called in Finnish or English.
Is she always this crabby?
Generally, yes.
Okay. But they did, there wasn't one of Snoesmumriken or Snoofmumriken, the one that looks like you. The green guy with the hat and... Okay. Then, this is the prize. Oh, this was so cute! Look at the needle binding on this thing. I have to put it on the ground, I think, so you can see it better. Let's see. Maybe it shows better in the light. Look, okay, this is my stitches. This is her stitches. I think it is finish 3 plus, no, maybe 3 plus 2 or something. I forget what the stitch name is on it, but you can see it on her Instagram. It's Nella the Finn. So she made me these wonderful socks. I think this might be zoomed in or something. It looks really, let's see. No, there it goes. There we go. Now you can see it. Unfortunately, she made size 47, which is bigger than Karl and my feet, but I will make these suckers fit. I might just, you know, sew it right there, and then it'll fit just fine if I do a little sew, and then it'll fit me perfectly. I have size 42, 42, 41, 42. So if I do that, but this yarn is really, really thin. It's probably actually even thinner than the one I was using on that hat. Can't really see the colors well. Maybe there it shows up better. There you can see it better. But I think some of this was Fable. That's what I thought it was. Fable is super thin. And some of it is, she's got about 3 different yarns in there, but I thought it was the same one the whole way through. But it looks so cool. So anyway, thank you to Nella. There, put it back this way again. Do you want to try them on? No? You can try one on. So it's a little on the big side. But I will make this fit. See, I could just do it like that though, and then it would fit. Maybe take off the length a little bit. I will make these fit. So she said they were the Kevlar socks because the stitch is so it's so dense, and so if I knew somebody else with a big foot, I could give it to them too. And the first thing that comes to mind is Greg's got big feet and needs Kevlar socks, but no way in hell, these are mine. So he can't have them. This was fun. I wasn't expecting anything, so that was my great unwrapping today. Karl's 4700th birthday. Let's see. Yeah, I am moving. I live about 30 minutes south of Oslo, closer to Sweden, or actually southeast, closer to Sweden anyway. But Gudvangen is about 5.5 hours away, so I usually am here every time there isn't school or the weekends. So every week I drive out on Friday, and every week I drive back on Sunday. But now I'm starting to move out here anyway. So ever since May, we rented this house in May, and then have been moving stuff every single week. I have a lot of crap. 25 years worth of crap in that house. I've had that house for 20 years, 22 years in Visby. How do you feel about the amount of crap? Because I only brought half of it so far.
We have another living room, the size of this one. That now is a wool room.
There's a lot of yarn in it. It's mostly yarn, I gotta say. It's mostly yarn. Some of it is my kids' clothes, but the ones that I kept that they were meant something to them, so I have to cut them up and make squares out of them, so I can do this thing with it. It's my kids' clothes. They're cool. So I make pillows out of them. Look, that one's a squirrel.
But that's still not an excuse for having a room full of yarn.
You can never have enough yarn. I'm stash busting! I'm stash busting! Only like 600 grams though. That's barely a dent. No, it needs to be done anyway. But yeah, I think that's mostly what it is right now, is bins and bins and bins and bins of yarn. And bags, about 4 garbage bags full of my kids' clothes that need to be cut up. And I only need like a square out of each one. So yeah, my mom, the quilter, will be happy. The YCZ, the Yarn Containment Zone. It is a yarn containment zone.
Yeah, if you ever fill that room completely and it starts spilling into the rest of the house, we have to talk.
We don't even know what the next house will be. We're just renting this one until we can get around to buying one. But it'll probably have to be in Aurland or Flom or something just outside, a couple tunnels away. But it's way better than 5.5-hour drive anyway. So that'll be fun. Torben, yeah, he just moved 25 years worth of painted Warhammer miniatures, and they survived. Do you have like a painted Warhammer containment zone? I just, we have a Lego zone. Greg has a Lego zone.
Yes, but Torben's Warhammer miniatures are so well painted that at least some of them he can actually display in his living room and not having people go, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Did your kid paint that? No.
Now he's actually pretty damn good at it.
Maybe he should paint those Warhammer. Are they Warhammer the ones that we have up there you bought for the kids and they haven't even...
Yes, but it's Age of Sigmar. So that probably, just saying Age of Sigmar probably sends Torben into a mental tailspin.
Maybe we should get the box down and show it a little bit more closely.
Torben is a high elf and Camry and Ogre Kingdoms when he is actually fighting battles. But I think he buys every model that he thinks is cool and then he just paints it.
I think you might have him nailed. He says, "Blasphemy!" Big capital letters and everything. I think you made him spit up his IPA. His Black Indian Pale Ale.
It's one of the dumber things that Games Workshop has ever done.
Yeah?
They have a super established fantasy world with a very big fan base, and then the best go, okay, now let's just wipe out all of this and start from the scratch again. So we say the world ended, and now we jump 2,000 years into the past and tell a completely different story. So you invest, well, in his case and my case, tens of thousands of kroners into miniatures for a story they just end and then start over again and try to get you to buy all of it anew.
Oh, well, it's a marketing ploy.
If it is one of the dumbest ones in the universe, because they are not making any friends and they're not getting any new customers and they're losing a lot of the old ones.
Yeah, but there's a market in the painted miniatures. Every time I go to Outland, either the one in Oslo or in Bergen, there's always people advertising that they'll sell painted miniatures for you or paint your miniatures. Is that actually worth it, or can't you just use like an unpainted miniature to play the game? You
can, but the gods of the dice favor the best painted armies, so you probably lose. And you also look like a dickhead if you do that.
I want to be a dickhead. So you get like points based on your painting skills in Warhammer?
No. In reality, it's just cosmetic. But generally speaking, the people who dick around with their miniatures a lot have a lot better idea of what their characters can do and can't do. So if you know nothing else about a Warhammer army, then judge it by how good the paint job is. Yeah. Because the guy who spends 6 hours getting all the details correct on Swordmaster of number 2 from the left, is probably more into Warhammer than the guy who just uses an unpainted miniature.
What if I want to just paint the miniatures and not play the game?
Well, talk to Turban. He doesn't play the game much either anymore,
really?
I think.
Nah. Did you commit blasphemy on the series there? Lyra says, my boyfriend's brother does Warhammer tournament stuff. Oh, they do tournaments too.
Yeah.
Well, I always see them playing there. They have like a whole little area where you can meet up and play other people, both in Bergen and in Oslo. The Oslo one's bigger though, so you can hear them playing. Fun to get settled. I quit a house with strokes of yarn. I like that. No, it actually is kind of nice. I like the idea of having a new place though, and I've got so much crap to go through though, so it's weird. Some of the stuff I haven't seen since I moved into that house 22 years ago. That's pretty bad. That's a lot though. I haven't even gotten to the attic yet. Oh my god, there's more yarn up there. Tukala stitch. It could have been. That might have been the one she used. Maybe she wrote it in the letter here. Let's see. Oh man, tiny writing. Let's see. I hope the included gift helps you with your Kevlar issues so that we don't run holes through the socks. They are approximately size 47 to 48, so I hope they are not too big. Sorry. It is 4-ply sock yarn, and thus can be washed in the washing machine on 40 degrees if they last long enough to need a wash. Okay. There it is. It is Sakola stitch. No, maybe I'm reading that wrong. S-A-K-L-O, or maybe it's S-A-K-K-O-L-A. Ah, there we go. Stitch 2 plus 2 plus 1. So there's 2 turns on this one. Well, there you go. Sakola stitch 2 plus 2 plus 1. I wouldn't have known that one. I would have probably called it finished 2 plus 2. Well, it's a finished stitch. I can tell that because of the way they're slanted. I'm going to have to try this now.
It's another funny thing. I don't know if the ones of you from Finland has probably noticed this, but it's just pronunciation that distinguishes African languages from Finnish. My mother was reading The Lion King to her granddaughter, and she just keeps reading, and then she gets to Hakuna Matata, and she pronounces it Hakuna Matata. What the hell, is it Finnish?
Well, it kind of does sound Finnish. Okay, so here you get the right and the wrong side of this.
When you pronounce it like that, yes, it sounds Finnish.
It's hard to see in the light there, but this is right side, wrong side. And of course, there is no right side or wrong side. It's just when you're working, when you're needle binding, the yarn facing you is the technical right side. As you can see, there's a little bit of a ridge to it anyway. So I will have to try this stitch though. The only stitch I've done that's got 2 turns in it is the Oman stitch, and that's like thick or really tall in a lot of loops.
Then it's 7 o'clock. Do you want to go a little bit on overtime?
Yeah, we can do 10 minutes more just because we screwed up. Love the new Outland. We can move. Miss the toilet though. Oh, the one in Bergen, yeah. That's you have to kind of like go in this little storage closet, so you're peeing in a room with a bunch of boxes of stuff. But if you got it, I mean, I don't know, you guys take so long in there. I have to pee when I'm there. I just like that they have a bathroom and they don't charge you.
I liked it better when it was Avalon, because then they had like a lot of role-playing games. Now they have like one shelf, and the rest of the store is given over to Lego, manga, and
and the figures from any manga
weird
series.
collectible things.
Harry Potter, there's a whole section on Harry Potter.
Yes.
There's a whole section on Pride books. My kids were super happy about that. Bought a whole bunch of them. But there was a whole section, that was in Bergen, that was all, I thought, role-playing games, a whole section of them, like shelves.
Oslo had the whole section. Bergen has one shelf.
Oh, okay. No, we had it was a crap load. I remember because you got lost in there. I've never seen you take so long in a store before. Usually, if we go into a store, then he's sitting outside smoking a cigarette, and I'm having a good time stroking the yarn.
Yeah, but you really like to debate with people on whether you should buy these potatoes or those potatoes. It's like,
Don't underestimate
You're
Pimpernel are
Polish.
really good potatoes, and then there's the Beata potatoes, and then there's the Idaho potatoes, and then there's the Mandelpotater. And
You're Polish and I'm Norwegian. I'm obviously going to defer to your judgment on potatoes.
I like that you think you're insulting me. You're actually not. I'm very proud of potatoes. So we're gonna have lasagna tonight. Hubbub, narrow toilet with boxes. Yeah, it is actually. It is. You like walk in this. You know, it's like a handicap bathroom. So you think there's a lot of room in there, but it isn't because there's like the toilet and the sink, and the rest is all boxes of stuff. It's like a storage in there.
I don't think I have been to that toilet.
No, well, now you have to. It's a real experience. Yep. So you kind of go through this door that doesn't look like it's actually, it just looks like it's a storage room, and then you realize, nope, there's a toilet in there. Complete with advertisements of people who can paint your Warhammer figurines for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very important. Got to have reading material when you sit down. Torben says, Outland on Magic the Gathering nights. The smell, not one Magic the Gathering playing has ever heard of deodorant. Not going to disagree with you there. I think they were playing Pokemon actually in Oslo when I was there. My kids are running around looking at manga books like mad, and I'm sitting there with my needle binding in the role play section, and they were playing Pokemon.
Place it around here. That would be Anders the blacksmith, Greg,
Torbjörn.
Torbjörn, the silversmith guy,
Yeah, Thomas. Yeah.
and what's her face, the Freeman.
Oh, Thea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does too.
And I think most of these people know what the deodorant is.
Yeah, no, they did pretty well actually. How did you were playing it though? The first time they brought it out, you went and showed up there.
It's.
That was the day we got together and didn't want to tell anybody we got together yet.
It's like if you first go into nerdy games, like tabletop miniatures, role playing, and card games, then the card games, well, they're better than nothing. But Jesus, there are better things you can spend your time on.
Yeah. So you're not.
I'm not going down the vulgar route by comparing it to what I usually compare it to, but there are better things to do.
So you're more for figurines than for cards.
Yeah.
Okay, there we got it. As long as they're painted well. Torbjörn Pruda says, I met my husband at a Magic the Gathering tournament. So Pruda, did Hector wear deodorant? No, I'm sure he did. Sweaty, smelly. Sorry, it's Charlotta. I gotta go back up a little bit. Charlotte says, at Christmas you get coffee and cakes. Oh yeah. Oops, I'm reading backwards, so it doesn't make sense when I do that. Hector just read the novels and then tells the stories at me. Oh, okay, so he's mansplaining the books to you. The Warhammer. Torben says, by the way, it's all about love. If you love your army, paint it. And Swordmasters of Hoth, Karl.
Yeah.
What's Swordmasters of Hoth? Am I saying that wrong? What is the Swordmasters of Hoth? You're not answering my question.
It's high elves. So very, very girly elves.
Very, very girly. 4+2, said Max. I could probably use 4+2 with this yarn, and then it wouldn't be, because this was so thin, and then I wouldn't have that middle row showing. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do with that hat. Maybe it'll be super big and I'll just felt it down and it'll be tighter. Yeah, the Outland in Bergen is huge. Oh, Karin's here, by the way. Burva, let's go say. Lyra says, every night, every event we went to, I am forced to listen to hours of Warhammer podcasts. They have Warhammer podcasts? Oh, we got a needle binding one, so I guess.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I'm not big into Warhammer 40,000, but lately when I'm bored, there is so much lore to this. It's so incredibly much lore to this.
Yeah?
So when I'm bored, I just find something on YouTube talking about the lore of Warhammer 40,000. It's like I already know enough about our history, so now I'm studying theirs.
Yeah?
And since I have like 40,000 additional years on us, a lot of shit has happened in the galaxy since now.
Okay. Do you have like a favorite Warhammer version?
Warhammer Fantasy, without a doubt.
And why?
It's a very well thought through setting up until the end times stupidity.
Okay.
And on its own premises, it kind of works.
Yeah.
What we start out with the board game. We just want these people to fight each other.
Yep.
So there isn't like in World of Warcraft you have team good and team evil. There is nothing like that. Everybody is evil in somebody else's book.
Yeah.
Except for Chaos, they just don't care. But you have an empire of humans. They are pretty much like, say, Germany in the very early Renaissance. So they have printing presses and gunpowder. They just don't really have a clear idea on how to use it.
Yeah.
They are maybe the freest humans in the world probably lives in the empire, and they're not free at all. They're just a little bit better off than what they would have been if the orcs came and took over the place.
Aha.
The orcs just want to fight.
Yeah.
They don't have anything against you. It's just that if we get you angry enough to attack us, or if we attack you, we get an interesting fight, and that's all we care about.
You do a good impersonation of an orc.
Yes, yes.
You want to show them? I have to zoom in on you when you do this. Let's see. Go ahead.
The reason I speak like this is because the teeth in my lower jaw are so big that I can never really close my mouth. So orcs would have to speak like this.
They have orcs in RuneQuest too.
No, in RuneQuest it's the trolls who speak like
There
this.
we go. Wrong
They
way.
do have orcs in RuneQuest, but the orcs in RuneQuest are completely different.
Karl loves Warhammer role-playing games because he can't lose when he's the game master. In Warhammer Battles, on the other hand...
In Warhammer Battles, on the other hand, it's kind of up to the dice.
Yeah? I thought maybe he was picking a fight with you.
Yes, but
I know.
I'm not taking his bait.
Okay, what else do we have here? Rhonda, but I want to roll my actual dice. Someday I might find an in-person game somehow. Yeah, that's what you were saying, kind of with the dice there. Warhammer and needle binding could be war binding. I think that we could do that. War binding.
The problem is
You don't paint your characters, you needle bind them.
I've played role-playing games with you, and
Yeah.
you do not have the focus to actually pull it off with
Nope.
any kind of reliability.
Nope, I have to be doing something else at the same time.
And
You have to multitask. I
when
can't
we
sit still.
played Werewolf, and both of your daughters are going, "Mom, he's a rat! Don't talk to him, he's a rat!" I almost died.
Of course I talk to him.
You're poking the fire and needle binding and have no idea what's going on, and then you sit down and explain the battle plans to the enemy. Now you see, we're trying to catch a rat. Mom, he's a rat, he's the rat, he's the rat you're talking about.
Yeah, and you were so disappointed you thought, I think I'll date that girl, because it was only a couple of months later. Oh, that's funny. Let's see, what else do we have up here? Oh yeah, there's Rhonda says, I just started playing Dungeons and Dragons and a couple of months ago. We play virtually on Roll20 since we're in 3 different states, and that's where she says, but she wants to roll actual dice. I do have my geek on in one way. My ex-husband, actually, I met him on online gaming, and this is online gaming before you had online gaming with pictures. I think maybe you had Doom. Doom would probably be the one online game you could play with pictures. But this one is, well, because this is back in 1992 to 97, I think, anyway, I played. I don't know. It's a multi-user dungeon. It is a M.U.D, and the game that I played, well, I met him on one called Grimney, which was based out of Trondheim, Norway. So then when I was going to Sweden, we took a side trip to Norway and met about 25 people from there, and that's how I met him. He was one of them. But most of the time I spent on one called Hexonics, and I'm still actually an implementer on that one. So there you get my geek on. But basically it is Dungeons and Dragons based, and it's a wall of text that kind of goes up, and you kind of push north, south, east, west to which room you want to go to, and there's a whole new texture and description for each room. There might be a monster in the room, but it's all... I was really good at, by the way, and not only was I so geeky that I was an implementer of the game, but I also built zones and ran quests, and wrote triggers. I could do this crap. So there you go. There's a little bit of geek for me. Grimney DQ Mud. Yeah, Roger knows because I met Roger that way too. See? That was my first. So Roger knows how the muds work. Our age might be showing a bit, Roger. But yeah, no, so I actually still am an implementer on Hexonics, but I just go in and fix problems every now and then. I don't think we've been actively playing that game for about 20 years now.
Do you have any kind of player base now?
We, back in the day, there was over probably, how many did we get on Grimney, Roger? On Grimney Mud, there was actually quite a few. The reason I started playing it is because there was a lot of Swedish people on, and I was taking a Swedish course at the time. So I started playing it to try to get some help with the Swedish.
It's text-based and full of Swedish people. This is not a selling point.
The other half was Norway. So it was Norwegian-based. It was a big game based out of Trondheim, Norway, but there were a lot of Swedish people on there. And I was taking Swedish through University of Wisconsin Extension, basically through the mail, so I couldn't get any direct help with the Swedish. So that was a good way to go. So there I was following my friend